strong because Jehovah built it. You can feel the spirit and positive energy. Questions asked comfortably like you're talking with family. Get ready to settle in. Wait for the show to begin. Invite a couple of friends. It's time for Unhinged.
Introduce to you Get You Home Towing, a family company with the sole purpose to get you home. Whether you need roadside assistance or transport services, we have a flatbed big enough to transport any vehicle to its destination. Our offer to you is our gratitude and great service at a much cheaper price. We are also open to transport through long distances. If you need us, all you have to do is call that number. I'll see you soon.
Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry. I was having a Martin episode flashback just now. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Y'all all right? I mean, what's really going on? It's your girl, Nikita Tilted Halo Hansford, and I'm sitting alongside my very, very good girlfriend, Karen Sims Harrell of Twisted Threads LLC, and we are Unhinged Live. I want to take this opportunity to say welcome and thank you to each and every one of you who are joining us in the comment streets, whether on Facebook or YouTube at one of our several landing pages. We are happy that you've decided to spend your evening with us. And in the same breath, I want to go ahead and say thank you again and welcome to all of our replay viewers who are going to join us and watch us over and over and over again at a later date and time. We appreciate your support as well. And if you enjoy what you see and hear happening here on the platform, go ahead and tell somebody. Invite a friend, invite a coworker. You never know, as Coach Cash tells us week after week, you never know where we're gonna go. So we invite you to get your passports ready for tonight's conversation. I know you've seen the advertisements. I'm excited about tonight's guest. He is absolutely a real one, and I promise you, I was plotting, y'all. I was plotting on the perfect opportunity to seize this time with him. So I'm very happy about it. I'm very happy about it and looking forward to it. So before we get into that, I want to go ahead and ask my girl, Coach Cass, my best friend. How you doing, sis? It's been about a week since I seen your face.
It has. It has been a week, but not a week since we spoke, right? So I'm doing okay because I have praying sisters. Can I just say that makes all the difference in my everyday world, whether things are kind of flowing freely or being flipped, turned upside down. I am grateful to have a village full of praying sisters who remember to shout out my name, right? Even if you don't remember my name, shout out that woman over there with them 5 kids and 11 grandchildren, whatever. However you do it, they know me up in there. Okay. So while they know me, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to just, I'm making it today, right? It seems like from last week, it's been do. And I know our audience can kind of get with that, whether the weather is up and down or the household is up and down, but being able to take those moments. And so, as I mentioned, we had a chance to connect on Sunday. Not all of our weekends kind of culminate that way, but we get the opportunity to be able to connect with folks. So I'm excited about that. We got a graduation coming up. The eldest in Mimi's crew is about to get a diploma. So super excited about that. And woo child, the work just to get all these people together.
Hold on. Wait a second. That is clap worthy, sis. Wait a minute, let me do that again. Because this is your season of double-double.
Yeah.
Season of double-double. So congratulations to you, Coach.
Thank you, and more to come. You know, I try not to be premature with announcements, but y'all just know the Lord is definitely we almost at quadruple by now. So I'm grateful. And you know, Tilted is one of those things, and I know you know it, and we talked about it, that when the Lord start blessing, right, that spirit of gratitude that comes, right, and so I gotta flip the script because this weekend, right, you also celebrated a milestone in your life. And so I gotta ask you, how you doing?
Girl, like I said before we hopped on air, I feel like I'm just in this little circle, just going and going. Lord, I'm running, trying to make 100. 99 and a half won't do. Oh, but before I get into my sha-na-na, I am grateful for you, Karen, for reminding me to celebrate my wins. Yeah, man. This weekend, I had the awesome opportunity to participate in the induction ceremony for the Lehigh Valley chapter of the National Council of Negro Women, NCNW. That's right, y'all. I know y'all know I'm all about that particular life. Yeah, yeah.
Gotta get
Yeah,
claps.
I'm grateful to have the opportunity to join a sisterhood of like-minded women in the Lehigh Valley area, where we'll be getting together and putting ourselves in positions of service where we can impact change in our communities, specifically the communities of Black and Brown people in the area. So, you know, I also got to share that yours truly was appointed social justice chair. So I will be, yes,
That's that double.
that's that double, man. These things I be speaking and waiting on, you know, they just be popping in my lap. So I'm absolutely grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for the first chapter president, Madam President Tracy Garvin Springer. We have been on the front lines in this community in so many different areas. One of our supreme bonding moments was actually when we marched during the George Floyd season of our lives. We were out there with our youngins and we were supporting them and seizing the power of their voice in collective action as well.
Yes.
So we were out there and, you know, she and I basically had the same experience as we took that time to kneel, to pay homage to a life that was taken in such a terrible manner. So that shout out to my girl Tracy and all of the women that will be assembling. Everybody was beautiful, child. All that white and everything with the accents of the purple. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to take your spirit into the room with me, Karen, because I didn't post any pictures of this, y'all, because I'm not one of those people who shows pictures as proof that I have things going on in my life. I prefer to let the fruit of my life
Come on now.
tell my story as I continue to walk steadily towards achieving every last one of my dreams. So I'm looking at the time, and you know, we got a great guest tonight, and I also have to give this week's superfan shout out. I got to give this week's superfan shout out before we bring our guest in the room. So can I get a drum roll, please? All right, friends, citizens, countrymen, lend me your ear. Lend me your ear. It's time for this week's superfan shout out, and I have got to go ahead and lean on this one. This week's superfan shout out. I had the opportunity to have a conversation this week, and I was out and about, and I actually attended her first ever Juneteenth paint and sip event that she held at her own luxury event center. So I'm dropping some clues here, and if anybody knows about our superfan shout out, you know that her heart is that of a total missionary. We had the opportunity to serve with Int'l at one of her properties, one of her school locations there in Allentown as well. That's right, y'all. I am talking about none other than Dr. Sarita Johnson. Can we go ahead and clap it up for this queen?
Absolutely.
She is absolutely amazing. And in the conversation with her, the first thing I noted when I entered the room, that Dr. Sarita is one of the most humble people you would ever know. With all of her accolades and all of her hands-on duties in the community and abroad, you would think she would be the most standout person in the room. But what I observed about Dr. Sarita this weekend was that she possesses the heart of a servant. She took the time to make sure that we were comfortable and we had everything we needed. And let me tell you, girlfriend decorated that place so beautifully. And can we talk about the nom nom noms and the food we enjoyed? She brought in one of the local artists as our instructor, and I can honestly say a time was had. I'll go ahead and post some of that content a little bit after the broadcast because I've been busy. But I just wanted to say to you, Dr. Sarita, thank you for being the lamp in the community that you are. You know, the word of God tells us that he is absolutely a light to our path, right? And a lamp, or that we can use as a compass to find our way to purpose. I am grateful that you are dipped and draped in purpose, and for all of the work you do in opening your heart and your spaces to many of us in the community that share your heart of philanthropy. We are trying to become the change we want to see. And Sister Queen, you are absolutely doing it. Thank you so much for embracing us here at the platform. The word you spoke to me in those few moments we had together kept me encouraged to keep on running to see what the end is going to be. I am grateful for your walk. I am grateful for your testimony. I am grateful for you, sis, Dr. Sarita Johnson. So listen, let me get some water. What was that, Karen?
I was sitting here thinking that as we're about to show some good home training and bring our guest on, and we're going to get a little bit into it, but we stay true to being relevant all the time, as this month is National Men's Health Month, and this particular week being National Men's Health Week. I'm just excited about the conversation we about to have, because we about to celebrate a couple of things. So for those of you who forgot your passports, hurry up, go get them, because y'all about to get some stamps tonight. All right, that's all I wanted to say.
Get yourselves together. All right. So I hope you got your snacks ready. I got to give y'all my brief synopsis of tonight's guest as we prepare to bring him into the room. Listen. As I made reference to Dr. Sarita being one of the most quiet people, but one of the mightiest in the room, that is my perception of this brother that we're bringing into the studio on tonight. I like to call him by his good government name, but he prefers his nickname. So I've got to go ahead and bring him in the room because I want to tell y'all everything about him. I want to give him the opportunity to tell you all about himself as we take this journey on the Joy Tsunami with none other than our brother, our Int'l collaborator, Lascelles Bassline Shaw of Bassline International Sound. Bring it on in. Bring him in the room.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
How you doing? Great. It's good to see you. Thank you again for joining us on tonight, brother. Are you ready to get into this conversation?
I don't know. Y'all scared me in the everybody that's listening right now, they scared me in the beginning. So let y'all know right now. All right. I'm blinking twice, people. I'm blinking twice.
No. What is this?
Oh,
now I'm just playing.
Now. Look, I'm trying to keep my halo on straight. You're gonna get me started before we even get into it.
Don't worry. My horns is holding up my halo. I'm from the south side of the kingdom, so you know.
I was you down the block from the next Compound.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. I'm
you might have to get it.
I'm next to the project clouds. You know what I mean? So, but we up there together.
Okay, so that's where I can go get the good wings.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm
Okay.
not saying nothing.
Guess
I
what?
can't say nothing.
You
No,
made it. You made it though. You made it. That's all I got to
yeah.
say. You
That's
made
all
it.
that. That's all that matters. That's
You
all
That's
made
I
that
it.
never
matters.
would have made it. I'm sorry. There was some controversy attached to the brother that sang that song, but I'm grateful that you made it here to the platform on tonight. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. One of my favorite things to do is Brother Raga, is to showcase how it started and how it's going with those people that we invite into the conversation. So I understand that your life did not start in Lehigh Valley. So if you wouldn't mind, can you share with our listeners and our viewers a little bit about where you were born, how you grew up, and you know your journey that led you to what? Because you got dual purpose out here. You in the Lehigh Valley area in Northampton County, but I also see you running things up in Monroe County. Talk to us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Um. Well, I never say I made it. I'm always say I'm still on my journey. But me, I was born in St. Andrew's Hospital, Kingston, Jamaica. Grew up in Trenchtown, grew up in Portmore, which is, I don't know if you ever hear Vibes Cartel yelling out Gaza, Gaza, Gaza. That's where I'm at, the places where a lot of tourists don't go. But it was fun. I didn't stay there long. I came to America in what, 78 first, but then I got here in 84. And then went to Catholic school first because my mother didn't trust nothing in the public school system. But then I got to Westinghouse High School. That's where I met my business partner and a whole lot of friends that I am still friends with. Quick Draw, that's also on Bassline International with me. You know, it was he and I that started this with a few other of our closest friends. But we're the ones that stayed dedicated. So I grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, went to Westinghouse. I call it West Indian House because every nationality was in there, okay? That's where, and a lot of people, a little known thing is a lot of people don't understand me, Quick, and a few of our friends. We were in Westinghouse the same time Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, and Biggie Smalls was there. Okay, we were in woodworking. Biggie Smalls was in jewelry making. So we remember that. Now I'm not gonna say, yeah, he was my man's and all that. Nah. We was, everybody showed mutual respect when everybody talk about that great Busta Rhymes and Jay-Z battle that was in a lunchroom. That was in Westinghouse High School. We was all in that lunchroom. Supposed to have been in class, but we had a pass. But no, and then from there, went straight to Virginia State University. I think that's where I grew up. Because I have a saying, I think I told you this before, Nikita. Jamaica made me, Brooklyn trained me, but VSU raised me. And that's not a rep against my parents, no friend. Every part of my journey, you learn something new. So when I say VSU raised me, that's when you start to learn I'm out of my neighborhood. I'm out, with people that I don't think I would have interacted with if I didn't go to college. And a lot of people don't understand to this day, it's an HBCU. Proud to be in an HBCU, a graduate of an HBCU, me, Quick Draw, and you'll hear me mention him a lot. But we started Bassline International out of boredom, and necessity, because we was in college. A bunch of kids, you were like, yo, everybody else is DJing. We knew music. Why not form a whole squad? Quick Draw was in Essex at the time, community college in Baltimore, because he was a year above me. And I was in Virginia State. And then he came down in, I want to say 92. And that's when Bassline we started there, but that's when it really took off.
Mm-hmm.
We are a self-made, Bassline International is self-made. And when I say that, it's not a conceit. We say we don't need promoters because we'll promote ourselves. So that way we're not relying on nobody. We don't need, but we work with them because that's how you network. And your network is your net worth. You know what I mean? So we don't need DJs. We got a bunch of them at our disposal, but we work with them because, again, networking, that's how you grow. That's how your brand gets out there. You know, we don't need nobody to do our flyers unless, you know, of course they're putting us on a flyer. They could do their own if they're hiring us. But most of the time we keep our own events. We tried not to rely on, and to this day, we keep that same movement. And I'll talk about it a little bit later, but we try not to rely on anybody because a lot of times, me and Quick find this out the hard way. A lot of times you get disappointed when you're expecting you from others. What you would do, you're expecting them to know it, even though, you know, and then you get disappointed when they can't do what's in your head. So when it's in your head, then you do it. And we never ask anybody to do something that we can't do ourselves.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that way, when we raised our own value, we knew our own value, we know our own value, we know our own worth. So when people come to us, that's why a lot of times I always tell people, you may hear somebody say, "Oh, Raga is a this and that. He's a great dude, and he's this and that." And then you'll hear, "Oh, I can't stand him," or this and that. But I say believe them both because I treat accordingly. You know, if I'm good to you, but somebody else is telling you I'm bad, ask them why. You know, and I try to stay positive. You know, I grew up in the dance hall world, so when Biltmore Ballroom and all those places was there, so you see me in quick draw on my team, anybody on my team, humble, and we're always having fun. That's because we've been there. We've done that. We know what goes through it. We know what happens. You know, I'll have fun all day, but when it comes to work, we're gonna put in that work. And you guys have seen that with me. I'll play around, joke around, always making a joke, but we will always make sure that the business is done.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I got to witness that in a more connected manner when we volunteered at the toy drive back in December.
All
And
right, good job.
yes, I actually, one thing that really helped me dial into you and really just observe you as you worked was your sense of humor. So the joy that you carry is evident, and the passion that you have for the work that you do is evident as well. Because I got to listen to you encourage the children. Yes, it was great. It was comedic. It was chastising. Get yourself together before I come up off this stand. It was all of that in a bag of chips, but it was also well received because, you know, children usually are an excellent judge of character, right?
Right. Well,
And
we
the
do.
way
Oh,
they
sorry, go ahead.
responded to you was awesome. So,
Because I believe across the board, no matter what I'm doing, whether it be television, whether it be music, no matter what, if I'm just hosting, Baseline, all of us, you'll see that in me, you'll see that in Quick. We adapt to our situation. And that's why I try to tell a lot of DJs sometimes get out of the comfort zone. Remember, we used to just be straight DJs, just that, but now we're more business. So my business at the toy drive that day, you know, I set myself into a mode. It's about the kids, about having fun. It's a holiday season. Get them right, get them tight. I'm a parent, so you got to know how to relate to children. We can relate to them from their newborns to when they're about to step in the grave. We're all, you know, you got to adapt that, and that's why you'll see my team a lot of success because you put us in any situation, and we will make sure that we stand out. You know, and we'll never ever say, at least me, you know, and I know I haven't heard Quick say it either. I'll never say we're the best. We're the best at what we do. We stood amongst the best. And one thing we'll always say, we've DJed alongside Kid Capri, Funk Flex. We were the first people to bring DJ Clue before he was DJ Clue to Virginia State University. We were the first to start. Quick and I, and I'm saying Quick, when I say we, I'm talking about me, Quick Draw, about Baseline and Virginia State. We were the first to non-Greek organization to hold a party on campus and been approved by all the Greek organizations. We started what Virginia State now has a thing called Caribbean Students Association. We started that because we got there and we realized there was a bunch of us, but there was no representation. Now, this is not a knock on anybody. But we saw the Deltas, which is my wife is a part of. We saw AKs, we saw Qs, we saw other organizations. And we were like, yeah, hold up. It started in the backyard of one of our friends, Melissa's thing. We were just having a party, get together. All you smell is curry here, weed there, this, everything. You smelled everything. We was having, and then we was like, yo, why don't we get together and do it? And from there, the CSA of Virginia State University was launched because we went in, and the only thing we're not afraid of the word no. And I think that's where a lot of people fall short. I got a bunch of acronyms that I always use. So I go, no. If somebody tells me no, it's not because they don't want me to do it. They don't think I can do it. It just means to me, next opportunity. That's what the 2 letters mean to me. And I live in fear. When I say fear, I face everything and rise. You know what I mean? Because you can also face everything and run. But Bassline International, we don't back down. And when I say that, I'm not talking about we're aggressive with it, but if we said we're going to try and do something, we're going to do it. We don't care who's done it before, how saturated the market is. You're not going to do it like we do it. And it sounds conceited, but there's a thin line between conceit and confidence.
Come on.
You know what I mean? A lot of people, if you talk about yourself, people say, oh, you conceited, you're this, you're that. Nah, if you can big me up, why can't big me up?
Boom.
Who's gonna love me more than me? You know what I mean? But we also got a great support system. As you see, we work with everybody. You know, as you said, I'm on Insta. We're doing now year number 6 of the International Cultural Fest in Allentown. We're at Cedar Beach this year, September 20th. Yep, shameless plug, my bad.
That's my birthday. Shameless plug.
Well, you're right, but you better be there then. Watch. No. So I'm part of that, but I'm also, and that with the great Michelle Zitani. Right. But now, this year, the week before that Allentown one, this is our first year doing it in the Poconos. So now the Poconos is in. And I think I was telling you off screen, I work as a supports coordinator for IDD, for individuals with IDD. And if those that don't understand, it means intellectual disabilities, right? And my job is going to be one of our sponsors in the Poconos, and that's another thing, so I got my hand in that. Shout out my whole NEPA Fashion Week crew, Alaji, Sari, all of them. We always collab. We don't talk every day, but we talk, and my Lehigh Valley Fashion Week crew, Sari again, Talisha, my favorite hostess with the most is my partner. Every time we see each other, we cutting it up, and that's Marisol. Marisol and me don't put us on stage together because it's a problem. We talking Bronx, Brooklyn right there, and it's like, and then you got a Latino and a Jamaican. Yeah, we gonna make it happen. But again, you'll see the fun in it, but you'll also see us take it serious. Anything we put our hand in, and that's why we don't work with a lot of people. And it's not because of, friendship. We don't care if you friend, family, or frenemy. If we know you're not gonna get the work done, I'm not coming to you. Quick is worse than me. He like, listen, cut him off. We got time. We got to move. And we're not going to ask you to do nothing that I can't do myself. So I've done television since 1992 to 2019. When I left NBC Sports, I was one of their tech managers. So I was overseeing the Olympics. I was overseeing a lot of shows and a lot of stuff like that. So right now, if I was still there, I'd have been doing this hockey and basketball playoffs. So we have a lot of backing. Quick Draw also, radio show. He had started his own radio show when he was still in Virginia. We was in Norfolk, and the radio show was in Hampton. So Mix Up Radio. So there's a lot of things that we do. And like I think you said it earlier, we don't post everything, but I'm a poster. I'll post what I've done, but not to show. And of course, for promotional purposes, depending. But at the same time, everybody will look and be like, oh, y'all doing it. But they're not seeing the struggle.
Can we talk about that part?
Right. They're not seeing how many times me and Quick is arguing over something. The flyer don't look right. Oh, we're not working with, but they don't see that back there. But at the end of the day, we get it done. Right. And a lot of times everybody they think, oh, you making it, you making it. I'm like, nah, bro, I got 4 daughters and one is still in college, so all my money going to that college, okay?
You know where it's going.
Right. But they think that, oh, you made it. We trying to grow up to be like you. But your ego is part of the destination, but your soul is part of the journey. That's where you learn everything.
Good
You
stuff.
know. Oh no, she didn't give me the tape. But
You
and it
dropping them,
worked.
brother. You dropping them.
Yeah, but I and we're never afraid to try something. We may be hesitant. We ain't afraid to try nothing. You put me in any place to DJ, we play music, take charge. That's what we do.
Yeah.
I, we're leader bosses. We'll boss up, but we'll be leaders first.
Love that. Love that. Marisol's in the comment street. So
Oh, she is.
yeah,
Hey,
she
Maddie, son.
she acting up. All right. We got a Latina and Jamaican here and love it because you got, when you talk about your Caribbean background and you reminded us, and we are here for anything community. So there are no shameless plugs. We are the plug. So, share
Right.
whatever information you want to, because one of the things that we not only promote here, but when we tell people, grab your passports, it's for that particular reason. Where can we go when we going together? How far can we go when we going together? But I want to tap into a little bit about what you've been talking about, community and wanting to, yes, you could do it, but you want to share opportunity with those who are around you, those who've kind of put in the work. How do you feel like what in your life has kind of motivated that for you to say, you know what, I could do it all and take up the whole block, but I want to create opportunity for community? Where does that stem from for you, Raga?
It comes from how I grew up. I grew up in Trenchard, like I said, in Portmore, Jamaica, in Passage Fort. You don't have a lot of opportunities, and it's sad to say, and I know a lot of people probably hate on this, but the truth is the truth, and it is what it is. A lot of us have too many crabs in a barrel mentality, and I always try to tell people, I grew up in Bed-Stuy. I didn't have much. Like I said, me and Quick, we ran track. We was one of the best track squads on the East Coast at the time, back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. We got to Virginia State. Like I said, we created our own. But at the same time, while we were at Virginia State, we were considered the Caribbean crew, because that's what we was. We wanted everybody to understand our upbringing. So there were a lot of other DJs there, either we were competing with them or playing alongside them. And it's more of, I didn't get a lot of handouts. I'm not going to run there and run that, old cliche, but how I grew up, I figured, if we all hold hands, we can all rise together. I don't see a problem. Your star will never outshine me, and mine probably will never outshine you. So the only person that shines above me is God, and that's the sun itself. So it shines alone in the daytime, but in the nighttime when we all working together, you look up and you see all the stars in the sky. They're not trying to outshine each other. I believe in that. Now, don't get it twisted. If you try something on that, like I said, we from the south side of the kingdom. When we done with you, we are done with you. I'm not going to waste no energy to argue with you. I'm not going to waste no energy to fight you. No. Why? Because the time I take to argue with you, I could have been doing something positive.
Talk, brother, talk.
No, but I mean, and it's the thing, and that's when people will see the conceit. But I have no problem helping. I love doing community work because one, if I'm going to be selfish about it, it gets my brand out there. But then two, you feel good about it at the end of the day. And you know how many leads you get with just doing a volunteer work. Sometimes you don't know who you'll walk into. You don't know who you'll run into. I'm not saying you volunteer for every little thing. It's got to mean something, though.
Right.
Like when Michelle started the ICF, the International Cultural Festival, I was there day one, and I've watched her grow it. So when you are there to help plant the seed, you want to help. It's just in my nature anyway. I mean, unless you shady, and if somebody come to me and say, and I'm gonna pick on Nikita because she was picking on me. If somebody said Nikita was shady, and I'm like, I ain't seen that side of her, so what did you do? I can't go by what your experience is
Wow.
with that person. I gotta, if you then became shady to me, then I'm like, oh, all right, that's what they was talking about. But I have to learn you myself. I'm not gonna go by what somebody else told me.
Right.
Yeah, if it's a hard lesson, it's a hard lesson. But guess what? If you never do that to me, then I would have missed out on a chance to speak to a great individual because somebody else said something. We don't listen to nobody.
Absolutely. I follow the same frame of thought when it comes to people. I love to let people learn for themselves. And, as they're engaging the other person and they're picking up on what they're picking on, they come to me. I'm a truth teller. So if you ask me to share my experience, I'll share it in a grace-laced way, if that makes any sense.
Right.
I'm not trying to throw shade because I don't
Mm,
need anybody returning that energy towards me.
exactly.
So I trust God. I got angels that are working on my behalf 24/7, 365, 366 when I ain't acting right. So,
That's that
I
leap
let
year.
God be God and I keep it moving. I'm also not one to go back and forth. And I think that happens when you yourself are a visionary. Because as I was sharing with Karen in a conversation early last week, only vision can connect with vision. To lend to what you were talking about, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I can't do. Much like yourself, we are creating our own thing here. People
Right.
always ask me, "Are you on Spotify?" I'm like, "Nah, bro. We creating our own syndication. We have
Right.
several landing pages on Facebook and YouTube, and that's where we're focused for now. As we
Right.
continue to build, we're not numbers focused either. I'm more
Right.
focused on the well-being of the tribe, the
The
people
quality,
that
not the quantity.
exactly. I need to know your heart is right, because this brand is based and stoked in prayer and integrity. Because baby, my name is all I got, and I gotta keep it clean. What?
Exactly.
That part.
Exactly.
My name is all I got. So check it out. You, of course, are of Supreme Caribbean heritage, and you enlightened us before the show. Yes, I said Supreme. You a whole king up in this room. You are dropping so much wisdom, and I hope that it's hitting the target that it's meant to hit through these screens and these airwaves. It's Caribbean Heritage Month.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's
Yeah, that's the
Caribbean
thing
Heritage.
that it kind of if something irks me, that irks me. And this again is not a shade to anybody. I know it's Men's Health Month. I know it's Pride Month also, but it's to me it's like, yo, y'all forget June is Caribbean Heritage Month because of how the narrative is spun. No one ever tells you that. No one ever says anything because there's certain narratives that are being pushed. And again, not throwing shade at nobody, but hey, we over here. Everybody wants to come to the Caribbean, but nobody wants to celebrate us. It's kind of that whole, hey, they want what we got, but they don't want us. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's the case. It's just not pushed in mainstream or barely on any of the platforms the way everything else is pushed. So that's why, I let everybody, because as you said, you didn't even know that at the point or didn't remember that, whatever the case may be, but it's there.
It's
You know?
there.
It's
And
there.
shame on me for not keeping that at the height of
But again, you weren't exposed to that.
true. I
You
was
know?
exposed to Juneteenth all my life, so it blew
Right.
my
And which
mind.
we love. And I'm not even right. And even that had to get a fight just to get a name.
Right, exactly. It blew my
So
mind when Juneteenth became mainstream, what, 4-5 years ago? And I
right.
was tripping. I was like, wait a minute, y'all ain't know nothing about Juneteenth? I was at the festival every year growing
Right.
up.
But a lot of people didn't know.
But people didn't know. So, I'm grateful to have been one of those people who was able to share information with people of all cultural
Right.
associations what Juneteenth is actually about. And I'm still doing that to this day.
I mean, because it's still fresh, new information to a lot of people. Even me, to be honest with you, when I heard of Juneteenth, I knew about it. I didn't know it was celebrated like that. And I still had to go back and do my own little research on it because it wasn't something that was taught to us. We was taught 4th of July. all
Right.
our life, but we weren't told that, even though it was there. And as you can see within the last few years, a lot of stuff is starting to come to light. What we were lied to about, what we were not told, what was omitted from our life that we should have known because, a narrative is being spun. But that's on
Mhm.
the political side. I try to teach them, show it in my own way. Like even if I'm doing an event, I'll say, shout out Juneteenth, and then even I don't care what event it is, I'm going to spend some kind of Caribbean music just to let you know, hey, it's Caribbean Heritage Month. Even if it's the same old soca song that as we call the Yankee version of tunes, right? Because they're used to it, but I'm going to expose you to it because guess what? It's our month too. I don't care if you Latino, if you Jamaican, Bayesian, Lucian, all of that. It's Guyanese. We're here. Why should you only know about us on Labor Day in New York? That's the
Absolutely.
only time you ever hear of a celebration for the Caribbean people is when we do Labor Day in New York, which, I grew up in that. But it's now people got to understand that, hey, we got a whole month that we don't get to celebrate, or we're not celebrating, or we're not taking advantage of. And I guarantee if we start collaborating Juneteenth and Caribbean Heritage Month, you'll get a lot more people stepping up. Because a lot of, like now, I'm in the Poconos, and I made a joke one time. I was DJing, and me and Quick was DJing, and a whole lot of Caribbean people came out. I was like, wait, hold up. They hiding up here in the Poconos in these woods. What is this, an immigration issue? So, but I said it at a party. Anybody, well, you guys have heard me. Anything will come out my mouth, but it's always the truth. So,
And that's why
but
we
no,
love you, Raga.
Yes.
I mean, you know what though? If there's one thing I would do, I'm a joke all day because that's me. I believe if we can, why I can't do business and have fun at the same time. I'm gonna make it light. Because that's why you like when you say you see me at the events, I'm always joking around like because it's not work to me. If you're doing what you love, is it work?
Not at all.
Yeah, we got that preparation. Yeah, we got to move them speakers and run the wires and all, but that's part of the process.
Right.
If you're not loving what you're doing, then you need to step out. I've been DJing since '84. We got professionals in '92 with, like I said, with Bassline. Quick, and then we all came from. If you come from the Caribbean, you coming from music. You coming from music and food, okay? So you learn that, but yet when you get somewhere, you don't get that same knowledge. So, like I think you said earlier, Karen, keeping that same energy. Okay, we got LGBTQ, we got Juneteenth, we got men's health. We also got Caribbean heritage, you know. So that's why you'll see us do a lot of stuff like
I
that.
love it. And we got to shout out because we have so many of our Caribbean brothers and sisters that are part of the Tilted Tribe family. And that's what family is about, right? It's not just about what are we doing and saying in one particular thing, but if we're doing it right, we've got opportunities to celebrate everybody, to big up everybody, right? One time coming in for each individual person, because we all are representing an eclectic of different backgrounds, right? And so as American as I am, I grew up in the Jamaican church. Listen.
Oh, so you already know. come out,
Okay.
come out of
Now,
there sweating. Where the real fans at?
yeah, but also community, right? When I think of, and it's something we do with American families, but I promise you, like it was Sunday school service, eating at Auntie
Mm.
Pearl's house, coming back to 3 o'clock service, drinking water, coming back to I tell my kids now, I got frequent flyer miles in heaven. Don't you tell me
And you
nothing.
cashing them in.
I'm
But the funny thing about it too, when I say that too, what Quick Draw and I, Baseline International, because my brother was there too, and DJ Maya, who's one of our heavy hitters on our squad, and she's in New York. DJ Sayed, who's down in Georgia. We got a DJ in Canada, Big Dog in Canada, in Toronto. So we're spread out. But what irked me was when I first got to the Valley, I was in Easton, my brother and I, and we realized, of course, there was no Caribbean parties. And the first thing somebody told us, I don't even think I want to put them out there like that. I'm gonna leave it alone because it's been years. I'm healed now. um, right now, I don't even need to. But we were told, oh, reggae music won't work out here. And excuse me, but I was like, she, well, you know the rest. I was,
Yeah.
and but I told them, I said, give us a chance, let us show you.
Right.
And now, and now, everybody wants to do Caribbean or everybody
Absolutely.
wants to do reggae. And I'll
Right.
give you another thing. If anybody was to tell you God's honest truth, when we were in Virginia, Baseline International is one of, and I'm not going to say we're the main, but we are one of the key reasons why Virginia now has a carnival, why Virginia now is so big with reggae. And I'm not saying that we did it. When I got there, it was the radio reggae, just the same songs playing on the radio. And I came in with that dance. So we was like, nah, we gotta change this up and show you what we are about. So now everybody, I'm not saying everybody down there before wasn't doing it, but then we came down as them 90s Brooklyn kids popping up like, nah, this is what we about. Remember back in the 90s, we was brass, okay? You either gonna like us or tell us get out the way. But no, we were one of the pillars why Richmond can have reggae parties, why Virginia, North, the Hampton Roads area now do a lot of their carnivals. But you won't hear that in the stories. You won't ever hear us brag about that because we're proud of it. We sit back and we look at this. Look what we started. Because they tried to bury us. But I always tell people, I'm a seed. You can bury me just because it's dark, but that means I'm gonna grow.
There it is. There
You
it
know,
is.
so we take that pride, we hold that strike. Now you probably won't hear that, and I'm gonna be honest, you probably won't hear that from a lot of people. Because of course, everywhere you go, everyone's gonna take their credit, but we leave it be. Now we brought our mission to the Lehigh Valley and the Poconos, and we got a whole lot of squad people that that's on board, and we adapt to the situation. So now, if you notice, there's a lot more Caribbean events happening.
Right.
We got that ball rolling. I'm
Right.
not gonna sit here and say that, oh yeah, we got that ball rolling. Me and my brother got that ball rolling. Me and Charlie. Then Quick came down, he pushed the ball a little further on. You know what I mean? So now that's why you'll see us either DJing together or separate events at the same time at different places, because guess what? Work gotta be done and food gotta be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Absolutely. Absolutely. So look, you got some new endeavors happening. You got a new event space that you actually started. You opened the door for the first official event, I believe it was. June was the month for the
No, it's
palace.
been open since earlier in the year, but we just started ramping it because now the weather broke. Think about it. We was getting snow and rain every
Outside.
day.
Outside.
So
outside.
we did. Right. It's an event space. It's called the Palace. It's a separate entity from the Baseline International. So it's another one. We're a tree. Baseline is a tree, but everything has its own branch. So the Palace stands alone. Is what we're trying to get it situated. It's not a club. It's more of a event space / lounge. So what you saw the Sunday where you started seeing the ramp up of those events. So like Sunday just happened. We opened the doors and called it Slow Down Sunday, where it is what it is. We're playing some dominoes, we're playing Ludi board, we're playing spades, we're playing Uno, darts, paint and sips. We want to have we just had somebody had their baby shower there and stuff like that. So the Palace is gonna come along. It's right down Main Street in East Stroudsburg. Um but if anybody wants to know more, they know how to reach me. And I'll leave before we end tonight, I'll leave, contacts, and they can also reach out to Quick Draw. Okay. We also have August 3rd, right out there in Easton, we have the Jerk Fest, Jerk and Sound Fest. Now, that's more, and again, that's another branch by itself. So you see what we're doing here. Baseline is here. Now we're putting our pieces into places. And why we can't conquer two lands at the same time? Hey, the British did it, right? So you'll see that event is August 3rd. That's Sunday. It's a free event, of course, unless you're spending at the vendors. It's more of a celebration of artists and sound. That's why you'll see a lot more DJs than you will see artists, where we're promoting our own artist, Zara J, who is also local. She's from the Bronx. She's a St. Lucian singer, beautiful voice. But you wouldn't know me and her are friends if you saw us together because every day we fight it. You got one of those friendships where we start off with a hug, then we fighting the whole time, cussing each other out. Just don't get involved in our cussing out because then we gonna cuss you out together and then go back to what we was doing. And then we end the day with "I love you. Let me know when you got home." That's our friendship. But throughout that, and I jest with that, but it is real where we do that, but we also support each other. So Zara J will be performing at the Jerk Fest. We also have Flex from TOK, Jamaican group along with Chucky B from Monster Twins. That's also Jamaican, but they got a new album out, so they'll be refeaturing and everything again that day. But that's where we have different DJs: hip hop, R&B, reggae, Afrobeat, soca. So everything will be done that day along with the jerk chicken. I also got the end of that month. We're doing a back to school book bag drive, where we call it the Jerk Chicken Meets Fish Fry out here in the Poconos. And we're doing that at the VFW Post 2540 out here in East Stroudsburg, where, again, it's free event. Music will be played, but it's not as elaborate. But that event we're working with Sifty, the Sifty organization. My girl Teeks, we're going to be, we'll be giving out a bunch of book bags loaded with back to school items because not everybody can afford it, especially in this economy. So it's another thing. And then, of course, right behind that is the two ICF festivals that we spoke about earlier. So, yes, I'm busy and I'm tired. I'm not even tired. I'm tired. Okay. But it's not a tired from, this again. Nah, it's a tired from doing what my passion is, doing what, you guys see. Is what I put up on social media is not a front. I don't do it to front. I don't need to flex because like I said, my team has stood up next to some giants that people pay hundreds of dollars to go see now. Vibes Cartel just came out of jail. We've had Vibes Cartel on dub plates and stuff like that long before Buju, the same thing. We've worked with all those artists, but we don't have to brag about it. I think you guys said it before. I don't have to brag about it. The body of my work will show you what I've done. If you want to check me, check my resume. Nothing I can tell you on this podcast or to anybody. I don't need to lie to nobody. I only lie to ICE agents, and I ain't meet them yet, so I'm good.
Lord. So, Braga, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. You said something there because it's like, even though you're tired, I gotta ask Tilted because I see Rhonda in the comment section. And in my hand smack. So I gotta ask the question, Raga. You got a lot of stuff going on. I promise I need a nap just from hearing what you got in the next 3 months. I was like, I try to stay, and I got my pen over here. You don't see me looking down. I'm like, okay,
right.
Never
mind. Like, huh?
That is a lot, right? Like, and it's amazing. And I know that this, takes a team and all of the people that you're working with. But I gotta ask the question, right, Rhonda? I'm on it. How do you recharge, right? What does self-care look like for you? Is the wife yelling at you, sit down somewhere? How do you?
No, that's an easy question for me. I see where you're going with it. I know exactly where you're going. How I recharge?
Yeah.
I come home and I leave everything where it is. I work with individuals with intellectual disabilities. Help get them resources. So I'm dealing with that Monday through Friday. And then Sunday to Sunday, I'm still working Bassline International, no matter the day it works. My recharge is I take my time. I know everybody like to yell out team no sleep. Nah, bro. I need my sleep. And I spend time with my wife. Everybody that knows me knows I be in the party. I flirt with everybody. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come home. I'm going to flirt with my wife. Me and my wife always flirt, and we'll sit down. We'll relax. We plan a vacation. And sometimes it ain't even just that. It's just when I'm done, I'm done. I will take my sleep. I'll take a day off. I'll take 24 hours because we go so hard a lot of times we forget part of the progression is to rest. And you gotta rest because if you keep going, you're gonna burn out. So you do take your pockets of rest. I do take my trust me. If I can sleep in on a Sunday, I'm sleeping in on a Sunday. Listen, God not gonna be mad at me if I don't go to church because I haven't been to a church in forever. But that doesn't mean I don't know my God because I speak to Him every day. So a lot of people will look at it. Oh, well, you don't go to church? No, I don't. I used to be an altar boy. So I've been in the church. I grew up in the church. I know about the church between Jamaica and Brooklyn. And that doesn't mean I look any different on people that do it, but I take my rest. So if I know a Sunday morning, my rest sometimes is in the form of I look over my wife, like, you making breakfast? She'd be like, you making breakfast? Nah. All right, Perkins it is, or Waffle House it is. But that's our rest because we're spending the time together because she has, and because Jilted is on here, my wife was at that ceremony. She's also part of the NCNW thing. And she was there that night. Liz, she's the one, Tracy's line sister. Tracy and Monique's line sister. So that's my wife. So she does she works her 9 to 5, but she also does her business, which is a travel agency. So she's constantly booking trips for everything. So we each got a business that we work, but we make it work together. So sometimes she'll book a trip and I'm like, yo, ask the cruise line if I can have a night and just DJ there. So with the people that she booked. So now you got a DJ and a travel agent going on a cruise. What more fun can you got? So that's the relax. We relax. And that's what the Sundays at our palace is about. The palace, that's why I call it Slow Down Sunday. Friday, everybody want to rah-rah. Saturday, everybody want to rah-rah. What we want to do on Sunday? Want to just chill out, relax, come somewhere. It's a BYOB. We got the chasers there. We do, we sit there and relax. This past Sunday, we was sitting there cutting up. You'd have thought you walked into like the high school cafeteria. We was cutting up. You'd have thought we hated each other. But it was nothing but love in the room. Of course, all of the arguments was over the Uno game, you know what I mean? You know how that works. But I do take my time because if I don't take my time, I'm gonna snap, and I might snap at the wrong person at the wrong time that did not deserve it, and they didn't need me bleeding on them because somebody else cut me. Sometimes you just gotta step back. You gotta step back, breathe, and sometimes just even if I've turned down bookings because I'm tired. It's not me. It's yes, I want the money, need the money. We ain't rich, but I also can't give you my best performance if I'm not at my best.
Right.
So I take my time.
We got a wild card that somebody pulled out. I don't know who.
Uh-oh.
Wild card.
Y'all did not bring Marisol up there.
Hey!
Y'all did me dirty. I'm glad I said nice things about her. No.
I'm the draw the wild card. Draw power.
Queen of the pack, right? My God, I told y'all. Sari messed up when she made me and Marisol co-host that time at the fashion show. Man, listen, we was cutting up. See, that's why she laughing. We was acting a fool. It
was a good time. It was a good time. I think a DJ always needs a sidekick sometimes, depending on the show.
He was the Robin of my Batman.
I just volunteered myself. I was like, what? He needs a little help here.
Yeah, no, but we always have a blast. And as you heard me say earlier, I love working with Marisol because even her husband steps back and be like, "Oh no, this is them too." When we get together, it's a wrap. He look at both of us and be like, "Listen, babe, all right."
I know they roast me. He's like, "How you deal with her for so long?" Well, how you deal with her for so long?
Yeah, I ask her husband all the time. I say, "How you deal with her?"
Shout out
but
to
no,
G.
but this is what Marisol is the perfect example of what I was saying earlier of having fun, getting the job done, and everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. We was cutting up, but at the same time, we was on point.
Right, because it's already stressful and the energy is so high, you could feel it in the room. And I thrive on that because I'm like, okay, let me see how I could help here or help there and bring everybody together and kind of like like, yin and
Right,
yang, like, just calm everything down and relax
right,
it with a couple of laughs. I
right,
think that's the best coping mechanism is laughter anyway. So might as well.
right. Right, and then that's the thing, and then that's like I said, that's the perfect thing of if you can laugh while you're working, even through the stress, and we all know all of us sitting on this podcast knows that the backstage, what nobody sees, you be pulling your hair out, and then you got to shape it, straighten up, and go back out there and smile at everybody, and go back there and be like, "What?" No, but it's like, but at the same, y'all laughing because y'all know it's true.
It's true. But then I just love how I see how everybody's working together. Like, oh, can you help me zipper? Can you do this? Can you buckle my shoe? That's the best one.
Right,
Can you buckle
right,
my shoes? Yeah.
right. Right. I mean, we do it all, and I've done that too. I've been in the middle of the mix one time and had to help one of the models. Had the music playing, straighten her out, run back over, and finish it up. But that's what being part of the process is. You know, you
Mhm.
got something you need, you can help out, you can do it. And shout out to Sari, shout out to
Shout out to
for that
Sylvie.
whole
Yes.
that whole fashion because she really got it started. I mean, people can say what they want about her, they can do whatever, but I will always say Sari is my sister because I've seen her grow, I've seen her go through it. Yes, can she be frustrating? Of course. What sister ain't frustrating? But
Nobody's perfect anyway. First of
right,
all, let's
but
let's just start there.
right, and she knows she can pick up the phone and just call me. I've yelled at her sometimes she needed help, and I've yelled at her like, girl, why didn't you just call me? Oh, I didn't want to bother you. Well, bother me. That's what we do. Bother me.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you I can't do it. Don't bother me because if I'm your friend, I'm either can do it or I can't, and I'll be honest. But bother me. I'll let you know if I could do it.
Mm-hmm. I was
Um,
part of the first Lehigh Valley Fashion
right,
Week and helped put her, connect her with other people. And since that time is always I connect her, she connects me, I connect her, and it's always just a I don't I don't even want to say ping pong because sometimes you even
right,
miss the ball.
right,
Um but it's just a loving friendship that has cultivated in a community, a network, because we started way back when she came to my son's flapjack breakfast.
right,
And that was a fundraiser for him to get some dance equipment and stuff like that because he was running a volunteer program that was like a First Fridays thing. So I feel like going, full circle when you do something from your heart and you put the intent out there that you're doing it for a good reason, no matter what's, okay, this is tit for tat or whatever, you put that to the side to fulfill that goal, it's gonna come to you double. What were you talking about before? Double, 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 triple, double. It's gonna come like that. Because I remember,
and that's how it happened with me.
yeah.
How I met
Hmm.
Sari, it was hilarious. I met Sari and Jacinthe almost at the same time because I was doing another fashion show, didn't know them from a hole in the wall, and it was Cappy Bash thing, and when Banana Factory was still open, so we was doing it there, and that's when I first met Jacinthe, and from there, John and I kicked it off, one, because we Jamaican, and I just straight up flirted with her. I was like, Lord, you gonna smile, come bright up our room. And she knows every day I tell her that, and that's my sister. I love her. And that's the other thing I didn't even mention yet. Doing part of the Interstar at the end in October, so that's happening. Then NEPA Fashion Week, what is it, November?
Yes.
Stuff like that. So every month we're busy, and not to mention, like I said, Quick Draw doing some stuff too. People think that we always do it together. No, he's doing his, we're doing ours. As long as the goal is the same, we don't always have to stand there. So, and again, it built the community. So Interstar, Unhinged, ICF, Lehigh Valley Fashion Week, NEPA, the Baseline International, and so on and so forth. Barbie Cologne, shout out my girl. I always got to shout out Barbie, DJ Zine, and all that. So everybody met everybody because of everybody, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
So,
beautiful.
and that's how, and it's been like that since. I know we've all had our differences, challenges, even our own arguments. But as long as at the end of the day we get back together and we make sure that each of us is rising. Because it
Right.
makes no sense for me rise alone. J. Cole has a song out that it's called If you ever listen to it, it's called Middle Child, right? And on the line it says, "What good is the money if my brothers can't have none? What good is first class if my brothers can't sit?" He didn't say brothers; he used the N word. But if you're listening to the clean version, and I always had that because that's before he even said that. That was me and Quick. We would always make sure that everybody was right. And now, we're trying to make sure it's the same thing again. Whether he's doing it, people will think it's solo, but I try to make sure we all eat, man. Because I don't like eating alone.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, I'm at home with a L in my mouth. But other than that, you know what I mean? But no, I just to say, like, what you're doing here on the Unhinged, I love the name, by the way, the Tilted Halo. I'm like, okay, she's still a little gangster in the house. So, yeah.
That's why it's tilted. Because it's
Right. Miss
the
Nita
OG
from the South
situation
Side,
that we
too. She's from the
you know,
South Side.
praise the Lord.
She across the street on the other cloud, but she there. Marisol, too. I tease Marisol all day. I'll be like, yeah, I'm not driving to Marisol in the Bronx for them to take my car and then sell it back to me. I'll be picking with her all day. But I mean, and again, that's the love and the energy you see. I tell people with me, what you see is what you get. You either gonna love it or not. That's not my business. You having a beef with me is your stress, not mine. I ain't got no stress with you because I'm not gonna put you. I told you earlier, I'm not going back and forth. You win. The sky's purple with a pink halo. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because guess what? Me going back and forth with you is taking away from some positive time I could have been doing or making some money. I ain't got time for that. Now, if you measure with the money on my family, which is all tied together, then yeah, I'm gonna ask y'all to put money on my book. You know what I mean? So I think we all have that feeling up here.
Ask Karen.
There's a little. I think
close
that
side.
there's a little Peter. Oh, sorry.
No,
There's
it's
a
okay.
little
I got
Peter
you
in
cooked.
front of us.
Go ahead, Marisol. What were you saying, my sister?
I said there's a little Peter in all of us.
Right.
That
I'm
is true.
Jesus though. I'm flipping tables.
Ah,
No, but I mean, like I said, everything is connected. We all connected. We all trying to do the same thing. The only thing that hurts everything in this industry, whether you're on podcast, DJing, fashion, is if we focus on the people that are hating on us. I look at life as a slice of pizza, as a pizza pie. That one little slice that's bad, they mean the rest of the pizza is bad. Yo, that's the only thing people focus on. And that's why we do the ICF. Because everybody's got something to say, everybody's got something to bring to the table. And with the ICF, International Culture Fest, for those listening, I told Michelle this. I said, I like it because it shows that we have more in common than we don't. And people so always focus on what's different. Okay, Marisol speaks Spanish, but I speak Patois. Oh, are we different? Hell no, because me and her, we're still two fools, be acting up, cutting up, but we both connect and she's got her business, I've got mine.
mhm.
What the language barrier got to do with it? You know what I mean? What's the
And you
difference
could
that doing?
connect with makeup. Like you could really connect with anybody with
I need
makeup.
to look
Everybody's
good,
like,
DJ. No, I'm just
can you fix my eyeliner? It's like you don't understand this. Like, they give you the pencil and you go. So you hook a sister up a little bit. I don't know.
right. And that's how we carry it. So
Oh, it's fun.
Well,
sorry, I
that's
didn't mean to take over.
it's
No,
all
no.
good. Because y'all know I'm sitting here just, waiting for my opportunity to rev up.
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead. Rev it up. Boom, boom, boom.
Rev up. I brought our sister Marisol into the room. I kind of gave you a heads up that I was getting ready to do you on air and ask you some things on the spot. And this is just a segment that I've created just for our brother Raga. We're going to ask Raga to mansplain some things for us on this evening. All right. So, yeah, y'all call and sit real close while, Raga takes some time to mansplain some answers to my questions. We talked about it earlier on in the conversation that this is actually Men's Mental Health month and week. And from what I've learned in my mental health learning journey is that a lot of men of color don't typically tend to like to go to the doctor. Can you give us your mansplanation as to why, Brother Raga? Huh?
All right, all right, first things first. When I'm mansplaining it for me. A lot of guys I don't like to talk for because everybody's got differences and reasons why. But for me, I'm one of those that's hard headed. My wife has just been getting on my case for the last 4 months. I gotta go because I'm turning 50.
Get his wife somebody. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, she over there on her own call. I because I need to go get my colonoscopy, and every time I'm Jamaican, so I'm looking at I'm like, what? You want me to go lay down and the doctor do what? But again, I know it's for your health, but in my head, I'm still a yard man. I'm still sitting here like, you want me to go do what? And I'm going to put what where? No, so a lot of guys, for me, I can't say a lot because, like I said, I don't like speaking for men in general like that on certain topics. Everybody has that, but for me, I was just, and my mother had, because she was a head nurse for from 87 to 2012. So she's been a nurse for the longest on the AIDS and cancer unit in New York. She was the head nurse. But for me, I was just tired of every time you go to a doctor, they just shoving a pill down your throat. It seems like that's the solution for everything. So it kind of turned me off. Do I need to go? Should I go? Yes, I do go I need to go for a physical, which I am going for. I do go for my dentist. For me, I think sometimes I make a lot of excuses with the whole, oh, I'm busy. Oh, shit, I would have done it, but you know what? I got this schedule. So we make a lot of excuses. It's just a thing that sometimes men are just macho. Like, I don't need no doctor. I'm good. Oh, what? My whole arm's about to hang off, man. I'm a patch that up. I'm good. I don't need to go there. And it's something maybe, especially for us, sunk into our society. It's a trust issue. One, because, and I used to, and what really turned me off from the doctor too is when I saw when my father got sick, they were just shoving all these pills down his throat, and then you needed a pill to get off the pill that you were on. Right. So it kind of threw me for a loop. And my father passed in 08. And I just was like, every little thing. So I told my wife, I said, listen, fill out our will, whatever. If I get sick like that, do not bring me to a doctor. I mean, yes, check up, let me know the status and stuff like that. But I just didn't want all them chemicals in me. And as a person too, that I said, again, I work with those with IDD. And I'm watching some of my clients, and without breaking any HIPAA laws, some of them are over medicated. The first thing they do is give them a pill. And I'm like, has anybody had a conversation with some of these people? I have one client that she refuses to take a pill, even though she's got a condition, but she's functioning well. And they keep trying to shove a pill down her throat. I'm like, okay, good thing it's her rights. But I look at it, everything is just, oh, take this, take this, take this. And I have that motto where this country, especially, they make customers, they don't make cures. So if I'm sick, what can I do to help prevent it? You know what I mean? Everything is okay. Come back and see me. So for me, it's one of those stigmas. So do I have to get over it? Of course I do, because like I said, I live with a black woman that's going to drag me to the colonoscopy herself. But it's something that I think we just got to get out our own way. And maybe if and I think, and this is me, especially, everybody like to say the woke society. I think if we have a lot more doctors that look like me, I'll probably go.
Ooh, that's true.
I'm no disrespect to any other, cultures, but a lot of times every time I go, okay, it's a white person, and then I got a lot of white friends, so I don't want nobody to think that I'm being racist. I'm just being real. I think you would get a lot more guys, especially of color, whether they're Latino, African, West Indian, whatever. I think you'll have a lot more guys go if maybe we had something comfortable to go to. I'm not saying it is, maybe, but we've never explored that.
Fear is the fear of the unknown.
Exactly. And like I said, I'm about to be dragged down. If y'all hear me screaming down 33, mind your business, because my wife done dragged me down. But I think for me, that's what it is. me, I just gotta get over the stigma and like Marisol just said, the fear of the unknown, and just because I've been around it so much, and that seems to me the only solution is a pill, and I hate pills. Now, don't
You
get
got
it
to do
twisted.
like the guest that we had before, the guest that we had on the show. She was doing everything natural. You're gonna
I
have
do
to
that.
start doing that
Here's the
sea
funny thing.
moss and all
Here's the
that.
funniest thing in the world. During that COVID era of 2020, they claimed, and I said claimed, and I'll leave it at that because that's a whole conversation, that my wife caught it twice. Right? So I said, all right. I went and hung up on my wife and said, yo, let me catch this thing. Because remember back in the day, your best immune system was to catch it. What they used to do with us with chicken pox, toss you in a bed or whatever
All the cousins
to
with all
build your immune. So
Yes.
I hung up on my wife and they were saying it's over contagious, containment. We went and took the test. I came back negative 5 times. Not a carrier, not a nothing. But the only thing I did, I showed her, because Marisol brought it up. I said, yo, we're going to do some natural breathing. We did the whole ginger and the lemon and the turmeric and the
every day.
cayenne and everything. And I had showed her to breathe it in. And I said to her, I said, every year, and I know this is where men got to be in tune with their women. I said to my wife, I said, every year between September 31st or whatever the last day of September is, and January 10th, she gets bronchitis. So I said, Liz, you got bronchitis. Oh, that year. Hi, Liz. She's in the back.
Hey, girl. Hey.
She's trying to
Hey,
hide too.
girlfriend.
If I got to get dragged
Hey,
down, it's one
wifey.
of your NCNW sisters on
Hey,
here.
girl.
It's Nikita.
Next to her, I didn't know it.
You heard
Yeah,
her?
I was like, I think I was sitting next to her.
I was next to her and didn't know that that's who that is. Hi.
Hi, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Anyway, I'm
Hey.
about to meet your daughter.
My daughter.
Yeah.
What do you mean meet my daughter?
So she doesn't have to come up the hill
Where you going?
to Wawa.
With my car?
Yeah.
really?
Really?
This is
Wait, why
real
she
life.
gotta be my
What's
daughter?
really
Why she
going
can't be?
on?
Why she gotta be my
What's
daughter? Why she
really
can't be
going
your daughter? Oh,
on?
I'm sorry. You see what you said? Life, right? That's what's happening right now.
On and on.
Nobody asked me if they could use my truck.
That was me asking you right now.
That was you asking me, right? You know what? See, that's why you ain't got no friends. Anyway,
Wow, she got 3 right here. You got
this
3
is
right
this.
here.
This
Listen,
is
whatever
us.
the husband has belongs to the wife,
I
don't
need you
you?
to know.
And see, Master, this is why I don't talk to you. This is why I talk to your husband.
Whatever
But
the
as you see,
husband has
this is
belongs to
this
the
this is
wife.
every day. This is every day. This is us.
Yay, go
know.
Liz!
So,
Go Liz! Go
so
Liz!
but yeah,
She got
so
her
and
own
that so
fan club in the comments.
There you go. 30
oh
seconds.
yeah,
and we
Chrissy.
got a fan club.
Yeah. But no, so but that's us every day. So I always this way. So I know she had bronchitis. I said, you got bronchitis. But of course, at everything you could have went in there with a broke leg, they would have told you had COVID. So I just did my natural. I did the natural breathing. I showed her. When I make ginger tea, I don't buy it. I buy the ginger root, crush it, put it in with the honey, mix it up, and keep it moving. Because I don't use a lot of. I try to cut back on sugar. I don't eat the best. Don't get it twisted. I'm still trying to lose that dad bod gut. Even though dad bods are in, we winning. No, listen. But no, So I knew my wife, but I never caught it. Never caught it. My other daughters never caught it. So that's why we were like, all right, whatever. But I stuck to my Jamaican roots. I stuck to my natural herbs and spices. And I never wore a mask. I did not mask up. You know why? Because I'm like, if it's airborne and I'm out in these, especially out in the country out here, the Poconos, you ain't gonna catch it as like in the city. But at the same time, no, don't get me wrong. If I had to, like in a facility, I would do it. But I just believe if it's something that's going to happen, and I've been sick before. Every time you come to this country from out of a Caribbean island or African island, they want to give you that shot that every Caribbean person got on their arm, right? So I'm like, okay, I've survived worse. I never caught the flu until I took the flu shot. I took the flu shot in 2001. I was working for New York One News. I said, my mother's like, try it. You never had it because she never gave it to us either, even though she was a nurse. And one time I took it. That was the first time and only time in my life I've ever been sick for a week. So I knew my body rejected it, and I try to keep some BS out of it. Granted, I don't eat the best, But certain things I can avoid, I avoid them. I don't get as sick like that. I'll catch a cold here or there, but I try to stay everything natural for the most part.
It's hard during the COVID. COVID was hard. I worked at the hospital during the COVID years, and it was rough. I saw a lot of things, and
Right.
it was a rough time. You know,
Yeah.
get the shot, don't get the shot. Is it true? Not true. What's going on? What's really going on? I can't deal with it.
But you know what pissed us off with that whole COVID situation? We took my daughter Danielle, the young one she's going to meet now, to Dubai and to Dubai with her and her friend. Like I said, she's a travel agent, so she booked everything. So it was about, I want to say 23, 25, 25, 26 of us that went, right? It was, she booked the flights and everything. So we went, they told us, oh, you got to get your COVID shot. I get the COVID shot. Yeah, I'm going to say right here on the Tilted Halo podcast, I got a man that knew a man that knew a man that got me a card, right? All right. Anyway.
Now.
Okay, that's why you keep friends in low and high places.
Well.
No, so here's the thing that caught us. So we did that. I even went and took the free COVID test at CVS. Again, negative. Anyway, we about to fly out. They never checked the cards. They never checked anything. We had to pay for all that stuff to get done. So now you had to pay another money to come back into the US. We went for a week. All right, we all got the test again. Everybody come back negative. And we're supposed to show everything when we get to the thing. They ain't asked for nothing. And I'm saying here, like the biggest scam in the world, we just spent $280. $280, and you're not gonna look. I showed my thing to the lady. I went just like this. I went just like I said, just like this. I said, here, look at this. And she was like, oh, I didn't need to see that. I said, no, you gonna look at it because I paid for it. The people behind us at the airport fell out. Because you're not gonna have me do that.
And you know, they asked for it from me in Florida. They asked for it. They was like, right. Okay, so
it depends on when you go.
Thank God I had it, but they asked for it.
Yeah, they be all right. But no, so again, stuff like that. You know, I'm not saying I know people have died from it because it's an upper respiratory system. And me working in television so long, I used to tell people, you can't listen to everything on the news because I know what they leave on the cutting room floor. I did television from 92 to 2019. I was a master control op. I was a tech op. I was production. So I know what stories they don't tell you. And I had to start teaching my wife how to watch the news. See, people just watch and they listen. And you, Nikita and Karen, y'all are in media, so you understand. I said, listen, A block is going to get your attention with all your local stuff. Your B block is going to be international nonsense. C block is for weather and sports, right? Yes, I do know my terms. And I said, but sometimes, like the first time, and I showed it to her, I said, watch how they tell you how somebody caught COVID. And watch how I'll show you. First guy was in Hackensack, New Jersey. He caught COVID. They was like, yes, he died from COVID, died from COVID, died from COVID, died from COVID. And right before they ended the story, yes, he died from COVID. He was 79 with 3 heart problems and lung issue. They give you the warning at the back end. They're like, but by that time, you've already, this guy died from COVID, but you didn't see his underlying condition. So again, that's just a small example, but you know, I did me. I didn't catch it. I didn't contract it. I didn't give it to anybody. And that's why, like I said, outside of having to lose the dad bod or whatever, I just kept my life natural. That was it.
Yeah, I managed to start branding myself at the height of COVID. I was like, everybody inside, I'm going outside. I have my mask, have my logo on my mask.
But you want to hear the funny thing? COVID actually helped Bassline International.
Me too.
Because what happened, the people I would have never reached, I started reaching on. They quick started reaching on me. A lot of DJs started because remember we had to do everything online, so we was DJing online. 2021, I was so overbooked that I only had 4 weekends off in that year because I was lucky enough to not have anybody cancel on me in 2020. They just moved their dates, and some dates were doubled up, but the work was working. I was like, oh, okay, see, it backfired and worked for me. So it depends on how it affected you. The same water that softens potatoes hardens eggs. So, that's what happens.
True, that's so true.
Absolutely.
That
And
is so true.
it
Right.
started when we were supposed to be in the house. I'm grateful for what I was able to add to my creative resume. Started branding Tilted Halo first, and then we officially launched Unhinged Live during that season because I had to learn how to do
Right.
all of this. So I'm taking
Mm-hmm.
classes, sitting here, trial and error. We started with what we knew, and y'all have seen our growth over the years. And
Yes.
we still taking classes, growing and learning
We're
so that
always learning.
continue to
Oh
bring our
yeah.
best foot in presentation to the community. We some inner stars and we love it over here.
Right.
We love being connected to so many of you all as our inner star tribe. And we're grateful again to have the opportunity to bring you all into the platforms so you can share your craft with our listeners. Much like yourself, Raga, we're after every single zip code and area code that God has for us. And we are a global entity here at Unhinged Live. I just want to go ahead and thank you again for your time because I'm looking at the clock and we got to get my weekly dose of
Oh, my
soul.
fault. Y'all had me take over. I'm sorry.
This is the conversation with the artists over here. We
Yo, here
we
we
want to
go.
talk to
Yes.
you about what it is that
I'm no
you
artist. I'm just a humble dude doing what everybody can do. I'm just doing it my way.
and that's what matters most with us here at Unhinged Live. So before we transition into our weekly reflection of purpose, Raga, I want to give you the opportunity to go ahead and give some personal shout outs at this point and to also tell our listeners how they can connect with you. Are you on the social medias? Is you giving up the email? Is you giving up the phone number? What's really going on?
So you heard we're doing a lot of things. We hitting some heavy this weekend. We have a Father's Day thing at our spot, the Palace, out here in Stroudsburg, right on Main Street, 580 Main Street. Father's Day. It's a thing called Dad and Kid, where just bring your kid, playing some dominoes, same thing, playing dominoes. We got the paint stuff, the sip and paint stuff. We have uh card games. It's more of a hangout with your child, connect with the kid. You don't have to actually be outside. We'll have juices and stuff there. We'll have everything there. Also, a lot of people know they can reach me right here on Facebook, and they can reach me on Facebook at Lascelles Bassline Shaw. Or if they just look up Ragadan, they'll see it. Also on Instagram, it's Raga Don, Don, all one word. That's that. And then I also have the baseline page. We also have the baseline page on IG. It's baseline _ international _ DJs. But if you look at the Raga page, you can connect you. Also, the Palace has its own page, which will be starting to put up some more content once we start what we're trying to do. Again, that's a separate entity that's coming along, so I'm not going to give too much information on that. But if you ever want to look at some of the content we can put up, it's DA _ Palace 570 on IG. And my Gmail, most people can catch me at if they're inquiries, if they want to find out anything. I'm also on YouTube. I haven't posted on YouTube recently, but I will start again because I'm starting to do some more mixes. But you can reach me if you want to do an inquiry at baselineraga@gmail.
That's awesome.
And that's how you can reach me. And if not, trust me, Marisol will find me. If they run into my wife, they'll find me. And Nikita, they're
Somebody
gonna
just
ask you,
find
and
me.
they'll you send them my way.
You know how
So
we
we're
do.
always there.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Raga, for joining us. And now that you have poured and dropped so many gems, we got to
Me?
bring up our most favorite, certified master life coach. She is in the room with us and has been the entire ride. I'm telling you. I'm talking about none other than my best friend, because that's my best friend, Coach Cash herself of Twisted Threads LLC. She's coming before you, y'all, for our weekly dose of soul nourishment with her weekly reflection of purpose. So I gotta say, Coach Cash, take it
Yeah.
away, sis.
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, y'all always know I'm coming with the title, but today I'm feeling a little bit like some leftovers today, right? And so, Tilted, we've been talking about us doing this for about 5 years, and a little bit before then, I used to just do these videos solo, right? I would do my reflections of purpose. We got hook lines and everything, all of the things. But today, I want to remind us the benefits of creating healthy boundaries, right? We outside. I know we outside, but we can't be everywhere all at the same time. Why? We need some naps in there. We need to make sure that we're checking with our schedule. We got to apparently ask to use the car, so we got to make sure we got time for that too. But it's important, right?
Shade.
So we joking about it, but it's a real thing when we talk about what are those healthy boundaries that we need to have for ourselves to make sure that we are maintaining peace in our lives, because it's a lot of different things, and we keep reminding folks we cannot always make immediate changes to what we see outside, but we can change the way that we respond to it. We could change the way that I love what Raga mentioned about training his family on how to watch the news. Because listen, I'm doing news twice a week in this house. Why? So that I could protect my peace. There's other people that there's certain times of the day that I'm not answering the phone for certain people, not just because it's work. Somebody was like, well, do they allow people to come over there? And I laughed. It's like, y'all know wherever I work, y'all need to be praying for them just as much as you praying for me, because they have an experience. But when you create those healthy boundaries, here's what happens. You actually stretch your capacity to receive more just by giving yourself a few boundaries to say from Monday through Friday, from 9 to 5, right? Be like Brother Red. My office hours are. Now listen, I know it sounded gangster. We was afraid that they was going to drop the brother. He was going to die, all of the things. But there is something about, even in that toxic situation, that he was creating a healthy boundary. So I didn't tell you go swing nobody over on the side of the roof of the balcony, but I did say set your boundaries. And if that means from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., anything that's work will be work. But when I leave here, the same way I dedicate my time to you all, I want to dedicate the same thing to my family so that they have me. And some of us, I'm saying this, right? We need to practice. Make them put the phone down. Make them put the phone down. Why? Because we are addicted to this, and then we forget about this. So shout out to those of us who are outside, who are making the commitment, right, to create opportunities for fellowship. We still need each other. We're the blueprint, but if we don't get time just to maybe, get a cup of coffee, drink whatever you're drinking, whatever cup. I got water and I got something else over here that ain't your business. Anyway, whatever it is, make sure that you are set aside a time aside so that you can replenish, so that you've got that time. Now, don't be so busy that you forget about you, because here's what happens, right? When you put your own mask on first, you literally get to save the world and be the superhero in your own circle of influence. But you can do none of that without creating healthy boundaries. So we're reminding you of it. Y'all got your homework. Y'all know who. And listen, one thing that our entire tribe we do very well. Our cutoff game ain't no joke. Like, we are legendary when it comes to the cutoff game. We can't cut everybody off. I'm usually the cheap one to be like, okay, but did they hit all of the marks? All right, then they can be released. So I'm usually the final one to say, okay, now we can release them. We did all of the things. But sometimes it be that way. We got to be able to make sure that we are sure about saying, I am worth the effort of letting somebody know you can't bring such and such over here. You can't bring that in my marriage. You can't bring that in my house. You can't bring that into my space. Protect your peace. And in the words of Elder PJ Morton and Evangelist JoJo, I'm done. So I want to remind you of that. Sometimes you just got to be like, I'm done. If it's going to take away my peace, I'm done. And then be okay with it. Tilted, that's all I got today. I hope that was enough of a meal to kind of let us eat for a little while here. There we go.
I taste a little Parmesan on that. Parmesan. You put a little Parmesan on that one.
Sprinkle.
It's tasty. That was a tasty word. And that one had a little little stuff in it specifically for me and in some of the conversations that we've had. Thank you for pouring as you often do week after week, Karen. I really appreciate you. I got to get into that Just Be. I just got to get into this week's Just Be moment. And, I took some time to reflect on how the Just Be segment was birthed from yours truly. And it actually came out of my mouth around the time I was 25 years old. I was starting out in my professional role as an administrative assistant at a special ed high school, traveling to someone's, burial service with my boss. And we were having a conversation. And I just said to him, I said, all I've ever wanted is for someone to allow me to just be. And he kind of looked at me and told me I was too young to be thinking like that. But the fact of the matter was, and he didn't know, what you all know about me to this point in time. Baby, I started from the bottom and now I am here. I am one that it can often be referred to as a concrete rose. Baby, I know what it is, Raga, when you say, put me in the dirt and I am going to rise, baby. So with all of the traumatic experiences that my faith journey and the life application, the true real life application of the word of God in my life allowed me to manifest my own opportunities to just be. So when I invite you to just be exactly who you are. Embrace your flaws, embrace your mistakes, and most importantly, embrace grace as you allow yourself to just be. We have a lot of external pressures that we face every single day, whether it be in the workplace, whether it be in areas of our own personal health care issues and needs. Listen, when you allow yourself to just be, things change. Or perhaps it's just my own personal experience. But what I can tell you from my own personal experience, when I allowed myself to just be and allow God to just be who he is to me, situations began to change. We heard it shared how many of us here on the platform share the collective testimonies of how we started small and how we even started when the world gave us the illusion that the world was shut down and we were no longer provided the opportunity to grow. Baby, we got a whole lot of melanated power sitting here as a representation, honey. It doesn't matter what they say. It's who you believe you are and who you're capable of being and what you're capable of doing. So check it out. Because we believed we were capable and we allowed ourselves to just be that thing, I'm sitting here tonight on screen and I'm looking at Marisol Girl Talk Nails. I'm looking at Raga Dawn, Bassline International Sound. I'm looking at Coach Cash. She done became a wife and has elevated the Twisted Threads brand to a level that I don't even think she expected. Listen, we did those things when the world was shut down. And now we're here with the testimony to inspire you that just be. And everything else will fall into place if you just trust. There is no fear, right? The only fear is you. False evidence appearing real. As Raga said, they leave a whole lot of stuff on the chopping floor in those editing rooms. False evidence appearing real is the only thing that you can truly allow to stop you from just being all that God created you to be. So just be. And I promise you, it's already all right. It's your girl, Tilted Halo. And I'm sitting alongside my good girlfriends on tonight. My sister, Coach Cash, Karen Sims Harrell of Twisted Threads LLC, and my beautiful Taina Love, Miss Soleil herself, Marisol Cologne of Girl Talk Nails. And of course, we some gracious hosts over here, some hostesses with some manners. I got to go ahead and turn the mic right back to you, Raga, and give you the opportunity to give one last word of encouragement to our listening audience on tonight.
My thing is, don't listen to nobody. Hear them speak, but listen to your own heart. Because at the end of the day, not everybody is you. You know what your vision is. God gave you the vision. He didn't give it to them. And I always tell people always say things to me that is like, yo, that's impossible. You can't do that. But the word itself says I'm possible. And at the end of the day, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a religious person. I'm more spiritual, if, in a sense. But I believe like this, if it's God put it in your mind, that means it can be done. It's just somebody hasn't done it yet. And if you have it, go for it. The only thing you can do is fail. And the word fail, you know what the word fail stands for? It stands for the first attempt in learning. So
right.
we all gonna fail. I don't think it's a failure. I just think it's a learning process, because you only fail at the same thing so many times until you've learned it. So from that point, once you've learned it, you never have to fail at that again. So, and I just like this, I tell everybody, like I said, we do our own thing. One yes defeats a million no's. All you need is one person to say yes, and guess what? The ball will start rolling.
And that ball start rolling real fast. Real.
Right. It'll come at you quick if you ain't ready.
That's facts. That's so true. I'm testament to that.
Oh
Right.
yeah. And
It'll come on quick.
quote
So yeah, so I always tell
prophetess.
people, don't let nobody else tell you what to do with your life.
The trio of prophetess sang it best on one of their albums. Can you keep up, baby?
Right.
Oh yeah. Shout out to DC3. Destiny's Children. Destiny's Child. Can you keep up? That's the only challenge. Yes, you can. You can keep up, just like all of us have here on tonight's platform. We are Unhinged Live. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hello. Welcome to all of our replay viewers. Thank you for tuning in. We are Unhinged Live. And anybody, got any, last words, everything? Everybody all right? All right.
Yeah, nice. Go check us at the Jerk Fest, August 3rd.
Come get you some jerk.
Oh. Right, jerk check-in, listen to some music. There's gonna be a lot of vendors there, so right down there, Larry Holmes Drive, down at the park in Easton. Juneteenth are happening. This started this week and next week. The Delta's out here holding one, so I know the ones in Allentown, and of course NCNW out here is doing theirs next on the 22nd, if I'm correct, out at ESU.
Yes,
so I'll be there.
We outside, y'all, and if you want to keep
up, see y'all. So then I'll see y'all next week.
Yep, check us on these platforms. We be sharing stuff, okay? We Unhinged Live. And guess what, y'all? It's a wrap.
See you later.
Till next week.
Peace.
All right.